Hi there. Today's video is for you new realtors, or it's also for realtors who haven't closed many deals yet. Now, you may know or you may not, the easiest way to get started in your real estate career is to work with buyers. Buyers are everywhere you go: the grocery store, the gas station, restaurants. All you have to do to get their attention is wear your name badge, pass out your cards, and talk to people. That's it. And then you're 5 steps ahead of all the other agents and getting some business. So, what I'm about to do is walk you through a purchase agreement, how to complete a purchase agreement. And I'm going to assume that you've already done those qualifying questions, such as asking for proof of funds, getting them to a mortgage lender if they need a pre-approval letter. All right. So here at Next Level Mortgage, we are happy to assist you. So stay tuned. We're going to get right to it.
All right. So the first thing we are going to do is open our dotloop. Now, mind you, everybody will probably have a different way of a different electronic signature program, right? I use dotloop or DocuSign. Now, for the realtors who don't like the Godzilla of real estate, it rhymes with pillow. They do own dotloop. So you might want to use something else if you don't like that company. But this is just something I'm used to. I'm accustomed to using it, so I just keep using it. But let's get right to this purchase agreement. Now, this video is assuming that you've already talked to the buyer and you've already called the listing agent to verify that there are no other offers accepted yet or that they're still accepting offers. So don't forget, always call, text, or email the listing agent to let them know that your offer is on the way. All right, so on dotloop, there are a variety of templates in here, but I'm going to just use the general template so that this will be easier to explain. So you see all these documents in here, but I'm going to scroll and look for purchase agreement. So I'm going to scroll down till I get to the letter P. Another tip too, or more information that you should know: when you're getting ready to write up your purchase agreement, you want to log into your MLS. Let me show you that real quick too. So if you log into your MLS, we use RealComp here in Michigan, you want to view docs, right? So right here, you go to view docs, you click that button. Now, in this area under view docs is documents loaded by the listing agent. So you want to take a look at those because your buyer will need to sign those documents as well. So for example, I'm going to click on the view docs button here. They're using a new program, so we're going to download those documents. You save them to your computer and then you upload them to dotloop. So right now the zoom's kind of large, but I'm going to size it down to 100. But here you will see the seller disclosure and you will see the lead-based paint. So you download, I'm sorry, it stopped screen sharing, but here we go. Okay, so it's not allowing me to share the screen when I open the documents, but you download the documents to your computer, and then you upload them into dotloop. So let's just go back to dotloop. But yeah, these are, okay, so now it works. But these are the documents, the seller disclosure, and these are the documents uploaded by the listing agent. So your buyer can take a look at the seller disclosure, also the lead-based paint. You save them to your computer and then your buyer can sign. So let's get back to dotloop and I am going to show you how to upload documents. All right, so one moment. get this screen share together. All right, so I'm gonna just, seems to be a problem every time I look at the docs, there seems to be a problem. So let's get back to dotloop. All right. All right, so it looks like my screen is back. So, okay, first we're going to go back to adding that purchase agreement. Now this, those problems I just experienced, that's technology at its finest. So I am not going to remove that part, just so that you are aware that it happens to everybody, because it's probably going to happen to you when you try to load these documents into dotloop. So, all right, so you see this here? I finally found the purchase agreement. I'm going to click copy. It says import it, and I'm going to click OK. So now you see this new document here, right? This new document. So I'm going to click on purchase agreement. Now, it already has a buyer's name here and a seller's name, because this is a transaction that I had already started. So I'm just going to click autofill, and all this information is going to pop in. All right, so you notice it says purchase agreement here at the top. If you are manually writing this out, or if you are typing this in, just to make sure the listing broker name, the listing broker and all of that should pop in automatically, but make sure you type your name here under selling broker, your selling agent name and your agent ID and your phone number. Those are really the most critical parts. So this is simple stuff. This is stuff you already know. And of course you put a date right here. You just click on it and choose a date. All right, so let's get right to the purchase agreement. Under property description, the property is located in the city of Detroit, the county of Wayne. Here is the tax ID number. Again, this information was auto-populated because this is a transaction that was already in dotloop. I'm gonna continue though and start and show you how we add an address so that it auto-populates. So keep watching. I'm going to do that at the end. All right, so here's the address. All right, so the most challenging part that a lot of agents experience is what to do now. So once you type in their price, which is $75,000. So typically when you type in the number here, like say you type 95,000, it usually auto types in the text, but it didn't today. So we're going to leave this at 75,000. Pardon my squinting. These lights that are behind my camera are bothering me a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to get through this. All right. So number 3, method of payment. This is where it gets tricky for agents as well. So if you have a cash buyer, you click on the cash box. Now, for this instance, we have a FHA buyer. So we're going to click B, which says cash sale with new mortgage. Now, it says agreement contingent upon buyer securing a, we're going to type FHA mortgage, right? So it says not contingent on the sale of closing of other assets in the amount of, now here is where you can actually put a dollar amount. What you would do is calculate that, or what I like to do is just put a percentage in case any of the numbers or the price changes, we will not need to recalculate. So here I'm going to just put 96.5%. And the reason I'm going to put 96.5% is because with FHA, typically buyers are always putting 3.5% down. So in this next box right here, I'm going to say, and paying 3.5% down plus mortgage costs. Now, buyer agrees to apply for such mortgage at their own expense within 7 calendar days. That means that you are going to contact your lender and provide your signed purchase agreement. Now, typically the realtor, yes, the realtor will provide this purchase agreement to the lender, signed by all parties within 7 days. Now, this next field says if a mortgage commitment conditioned only upon marketable title and satisfactory survey is required, if required, is not delivered to the listing broker within. Now, typically with the FHA, it's about 45 calendar days. Then we would put number 45 in here. Now, this field right here, you do want to be careful of, because suppose you were to put 30 in this box. That listing agent can declare your offer and your executed contract null and void if the lender is not ready with a clear to close in 30 days. So that's the reason you want to be careful and you want to be mindful in this box. So also, on the other hand, don't make it too long of a period, because then your offer may not get accepted. All right, so let's go to the next field. The next field is about the earnest money deposit. Now, typically a earnest money deposit is $1,000. Now, if you are in a multiple offer situation, and you know this already offhand, you want to make a stronger earnest money deposit. And that is because you will stand out, because almost everybody is going to say $1,000. All right, so if you really want to stand out, try to do something like $2,500. All right, now this deposit also is to be deposited into the broker account within 2 days of the offer being accepted. Now, right here, you'll notice under seller initials, I'm going to click that and I'm going to say no one. There are 2 fields right here. One, this field number 1 would be for a husband, and the field number 2 would be a wife, like that. So, but if there's just one person on the house, then you just want to have one person signed in the first field. So now, suppose I'm going to just uncheck it. I'm going to click no one. Now, to add someone right here, this is where you tell them where to sign. So you see it says assign field. You would click assign field and you click on the seller's name. So right here under the buyer, you see it says buyer. There's only one buyer, not 2. So I want to uncheck this box and I'm going to say no one. If these boxes are not unchecked, what's going to happen is it will get stuck when it gets over to your buyer. They won't be able to complete the complete signing, and they won't be able to send this document back over to you. All right, let's go to page 2. All right, under page 2, this is where you would say the earnest money deposit check was received by me. So you would sign here and then type your company name. Closing dates, number 6. Now, the closing date typically, again, is about 45 to 50 days for an FHA. So this is where you would type a date, right? Don't make that date too short, because again, your contract can be null and void if you make a mistake. So make sure it's the perfect date, about 45 days. If it's too far out, the listing agent may encourage the seller not to accept this offer. Let's go to number 7. Number 7 right here where it says possession. Possession now, at closing. Sellers shall deliver possession to buyer at closing, and seller shall pay the sum of blank per day if they need to. This field right here is if the seller needs to continue living in the property after the closing. So this would be an instance where the seller hasn't found their new home yet, and they need 30 days after closing, or the seller needs their money before they move out. So they might need 30 days after closing. So this here is where you could put 1/30/NP/PITI. Now, what this means is you would pay per day based on the new monthly payment. And this PITI stands for principal interest, taxes, principal and interest, taxes, insurance, right? That's what the PITI stands for. NMP is the new monthly payment. All right. Now that dollar amount will be held in escrow by the title company. Okay. Now, a lot of times on these purchase agreements, they are pretty general. So a lot of this stuff does not apply. But in here, it's just typically some verbiage that's saying this dollar amount, this is the occupancy fee. It will be held by the title company, and the keys will be surrendered at the title company. And sometimes pictures are provided, stating pictures are provided so that we have proof that the property was left in broom swept condition, free of your personal items and free of debris. Now, I'm going to thank you for your patience. I know this is all over the place a little bit. I didn't think it would take this long, but thank you for sticking with me. And scroll back too if you need to. But now here is where it says water and sewer charges. Water and sewer charges. Seller agrees to pay for all water and sewer charges to date of closing. You want to say, or possession. Again, it's possession if the owner is living in the property after the closing date. Number 10 is saying that seller agrees to order title insurance upon acceptance of the offer. So this is pretty much saying that the seller is promising to provide a clean title. A clean title, and it is usually ordered by the listing agent. And I gotta pause. This is way longer than I thought. Oh my gosh. This is way longer than I thought. All right, so back to number 11, title objections. If objection to title is made based upon written notice that title is not marketable, meaning there's some sort of flag on the title, then the seller shall have 30 days to be notified of defects. All right. So, sorry, I just lost that. All right. Right here, number 12, all property taxes are due and payable on or before a closing date and shall be paid by the seller. All right. So again, right here, buyer, it's got something in buyer. I'm going to check it and click no one. Seller, I'm going to check it and click no one. Otherwise, it will get stuck when you email this purchase agreement to your buyer and your seller. It's going to get stuck if you don't make sure these boxes here are clear. All right. A lot of times utilities doesn't apply, but you want to tell your clients to be sure to transfer the utilities in or out of their name 2 days before closing. All right, remember that seller disclosure I was trying to show you in the beginning? Right here is where you say the buyer is signing this purchase agreement and they have seen the seller disclosure. Now, again, you see right here, the first box has their initial for the buyer to sign. The second box just says buyer. Again, uncheck that box because we don't want any problems once we do send this through dotloop. We don't want it to hang up and not be able, or your client to have all sorts of problems signing. Right here is saying, did the buyer get the lead-based paint disclosure? Again, that was that seller, those were the documents that you pull from the MLS. So I'm going to check that the buyer did receive. I'm going to click here so that the buyer can initial that they did receive the lead-based paint disclosure statement and that they are waiving the right to conduct a lead-based paint. inspection. Now, typically, the buyers are having a 7-day inspection, but not a full lead-based paint. Most properties built before 1978 had lead-based paint once upon a time, but of course, the house has been painted 100 times since then. So it's just that it's a standard form, so we have to get it signed. All right, here, number 21. Number 21 is where you would add any transaction or compliance fees. Now, these fees are because, believe it or not, you will be servicing your clients way after the closing date. All right, so that is what these fees are for. You may need to pay administrative people to assist you. You may need to pay, you need a lot of additional resources after the closing sometimes. So that is what these administrative and transaction fees are for. Typically in our area, the transaction fee is $395 or $495, okay? Sometimes it's $299. So it does range from $250 to $495. Here is where you will put a time limit. Number 2, this is where you say, hey, Mr. Seller, you have until 4:00 p.m. tomorrow to sign or accept this contract, or my offer is null and void. Now, right here is where you check the box FHA addendum, okay? On the FHA addendum, that is where a client would ask for seller concessions. Like, say, for example, they need $3,000 to help with closing costs, or 3% to help with their closing costs. That would be on that FHA addendum. So you would check the box here stating that there is an addendum that goes along with this purchase agreement. All right. If flood insurance applies, this is where you will put that information. If not, you can leave it blank or type N/A. Again, uncheck this, buyer. And then you would add your seller initial here. You would click. So you would click assign field and add your seller right here. Now you see it says ALV. Again, that's about flood insurance. Number 26. This is where it says the property inspection and due diligence period is 7 days. Now, typically 7 days is average. Again, if you're in a multiple offer situation, you want to move a little quicker. So you might say 3 days or 4 days, meaning I will have a private inspection within 3 or 4 days, and I will get back to you with any problems that I have within 48 hours or 24 hours. Now, the reason that's a advantage or benefit to a seller is because you are not holding their house up for 7 to 9 days, making a decision if you want to move forward or not. Okay, right here it says buyer. We're going to, again, uncheck that. But right here it has the buyer's initial. And it says buyer does want a private inspection and want their due diligence period of 7 days. All right, I'm back. I had to take a little break. These lights, I'm telling you, these lights are doing a number on me. All right, so let's get right back to number 28. This is where water. So in our area in Metro Detroit, our water company is a little bit slow. So we're not able to always get a final water bill before the closing. So this is where you will put a water escrow, meaning that the title company is going to pay. Say the water bill is $500. The title company will pay the $500, but they will also hold a $300 water escrow just in case there's a little bit overage on that water bill. We don't know exactly what that overage might be until we get the final water bill from the city. Right now, they are typically taking about 30 days just to get that. Now, some of the suburbs take about 48 hours, 2 business days for the final water bill. City of Detroit, about 30, maybe more. All right, so get that order in quickly. I'm also going to leave a link too on how to order a final water bill if you are a real estate agent in the city of Detroit. Or you know what, leave me a comment too. If you got any questions about that final water bill, city of Detroit, and what to do on this part, be sure to comment below. All right, again, unchecking, because we don't want our buyer to have a problem signing. Right here, number 32, it's talking about a foreign investment in real property. If it doesn't apply, it doesn't apply, okay? This is saying that the seller, the buyer will have a final walkthrough before closing within 48 hours. Within 48 hours of closing, the buyer needs to have a final walkthrough. All right, here, number 37, always tell your buyers, time is of the essence. Whatever your lender needs, whatever the realtor needs signed, that you want to make sure you are responding in a timely fashion. Timely fashion is typically within 24 hours when you are buying real estate. All right, so here, other terms and conditions. So right here is where you would say, buyer requesting $3,000, seller concessions toward prepaid and closing costs. I spelled requesting wrong. All right, but right here is where you could type something like that, okay? What else might go here? Let's just leave it there for now. So you see it added the information right here. All right, you see, once again, it says buyer signed. There's not a number 2 buyer, so we're going to uncheck that box. Here is where you type the seller's name. And then you click right here for them to sign. See right here, this is where you choose them. Here, no one. Here, no one. The witness would sign here. That's you. You're the witness. So you just click it, sign now, adopt and sign, add your date. Again, uncheck that for the seller. Uncheck, uncheck, uncheck. I don't know why dotloop does this. It always assumes there are 2 buyers and 2 sellers. So that's the reason both boxes are filled in when it doesn't need to be. All right, so now that we have got that filled in, I want to show you exactly what I say when I am getting it signed by the buyer. And I'm going to walk through it exactly the way I would. So we're on the phone. Okay, hello, Mrs. Buyer. Let's go ahead and get this purchase agreement signed so that we can get it over to the listing agent right away. We don't want to delay and have any other buyers come in and take your dream home. All right. So right here is the property description. This is the city. This is the county. This is the property tax identification number. Here is the address, and here's the zip code. Now, Mrs. Buyer, this is the price we agreed to, $75,000. Is that correct? All right, the buyer will say yes. All right, Mrs. Buyer, this is where I check that you will be getting a FHA mortgage, and you will be putting 3.5% down. Is that correct? And the buyer would say yes. All right. Now, Mrs. Buyer, once we get this agreement, this purchase agreement signed by the seller, I will be sure that your mortgage loan officer receives this signed agreement within 7 days. So be sure to communicate with them and lock in your interest rate. Understood? You follow? Buyer will say yes. All right. All right. Now, Mrs. Seller, here states that you will be providing a $1,000 earnest money deposit within 2 days of your offer being accepted. Are you able to do that? Seller says yes. All right, perfect. Now that earnest money deposit sits into the broker account until this deal closes, and that $1,000 will be subtracted from your closing costs. Follow me? All right, good. Now, again, your $1,000 earnest money deposit will be held by Next Level Realty and Investments. Nobody touches that until the property closes. Now, Mrs. Buyer, your closing date will be on or before November 4th, 2021. Is that good for you? All right. Now, the closer we get to the closing date, we will tell you the exact date. It could be the 3rd, it could be the 2nd. And if we have to go over because we have delays in the appraisal or something to that degree, then you will be notified well in advance, okay? All right. All right, so now possession. You will receive possession at closing. So this here doesn't apply. The seller will not be paying you anything per day. So I'll just delete that, okay? Because the seller says they can be moved out by closing. All right, so let's go to number 9. The seller will pay all of the water and sewage charges up to closing date, okay? All right, number 11 says the seller will provide you with a marketable title, meaning it will be clean and clear. There will be no clouds on the title, meaning they this agreement is subject to them giving you a title that's clean and clear with no clouds, meaning they have not hired contractors to do a job and not paid them. So there won't be any liens on the property. That's what we're asking for, okay? This is not a condo, so none of that applies. Seller will be responsible for taxes. All right, they will be paid up until closing date. And here, utilities will be paid by seller, their utilities, and you should transfer into your name before closing. All right, right here says that you have seen that seller disclosure form, so initial there. And right here, you saw that lead-based paint form, initial there that you saw it, and initial here that you are waiving your right to have a lead-based paint inspection. All right, right here is a $395 transaction fee. That'll be included in your closing cost, okay? Right here, all right, I'm back. I had to take another break and get some water. Thanks for sticking in there. All right. All right, so number 22. Now we're going to give the seller 24 hours to approximately 24 hours or end of business tomorrow. Let's put 6 p.m. So we're going to give them till 6 p.m. tomorrow to respond to our offer, or it will be null and void. All right. All right, right here is saying that you will conduct your inspection within 7 days and do all of your due diligence. So initial there. Thank you. Number 28, we are going to ask that the title company holds a $300 water escrow if the seller does not have the final water bill at closing. All right. Let's scroll down to, initial here, please, that you've read all that because this stuff doesn't apply. All right, number 35 says that you will be having a final walkthrough within 2 days before closing. And we just want to make sure the property is in the same condition as you originally saw it. All right, and right here states time is of the essence. So if your lender needs anything and, any sort of documents to keep your loan on track to close on time, you want to be sure to respond and provide those documents, okay? All right, let's go down to number 41. This is where I put that you are requesting $3,000 of seller concessions that will be paid towards your closing cost, okay? So we've made it to the final page. So I just need you to sign here that this is finalizing your purchase agreement. So this is where you sign and this is where you initial. All right. Now I am going to send this purchase agreement over to the listing agent, and I will let you know as soon as I hear a word back. All right. So let's stop that screen share. All right. So just as I promised, one other thing. Let me get back to the screen share. All right. I want to show you how you would, yes, we're going to save that. Now, providing that you were using dotloop, and this is the brand new address. A brand new address you're typing a purchase agreement for, you would type 8829 Stahalin. Detroit. Let me try, I'm going to type a completely new address. I'm going to type 10327 Roxbury, Detroit, Michigan. Let's go with a completely different address, one that's not in here. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I told you this light is getting to me. All right, so to add a new loop, you go to add loop. We're going to type the address 10327 Roxbury, Detroit, Michigan. Now you see that it's automatically popping up and generating from Google Maps on the bottom. So you just click it and you click continue. It's asking you to upload a photo. You don't need to do that. Just click done. And now you click view loop. All right. So you want to add a document. You want to scroll down. Let's go to GMAR, which is our board of realtors. And again, we're going to look for purchase agreement, purchase agreement, purchase agreement, purchase agreement. Click it and click copy. Now you click OK. Now you see that purchase agreement in there, right? Right here. I'm going to click on it. You see, now this is where you add your buyer. So, and you see that it added the address and Wayne County and all that stuff. But right here, I'm going to say add a person. So it's Jane, the buyer's name is Jane Buyer. We're going to add her email, janebuyer@gmail.com. And then you click add person. You see her name here? Scroll down a little bit. Click auto fill. That is how you save yourself time. It added the county, it added the city, it added the street name and zip code. Now you will have to scroll back and go to your MLS to do a copy and paste of your, sorry, hold on one second. All right, so let's get back to that screen share. Now you want to do a copy and paste from your MLS as far as locating your property ID number. You can click on PRD from a listing. Uh-oh, don't want to do that. If you scroll down, you see right here, the property ID number on the bottom. I just clicked it. I'm going to do copy C, and I'm going to go back to my purchase agreement. And I'm going to click tax ID and I'm going to go Control V. You see how it added that property ID number? Control V. Delete, Control V. All right. So again, this is where you would 75. This is where you would type 75,000. And again, it usually types it in here, but I guess not. All right, so that is pretty much it. That is how you fill out a purchase agreement. Whew, that was some work. All right, drop me a comment below if there is anything I missed about this purchase agreement that you have a question on. Please drop in a comment below. I'll be happy to answer it. These lights really got to me and I wasn't able to go over everything I wanted to, but happy house hunting. All right, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.